What's going on, Z Warriors? MrWaffles here, and we have a special guest. A lot of you probably seen him in the tournaments. As you know, he's one of the lead judges at almost every DBZ event that we have. He's our local judge at here Brothers Grimm Games in Selden, New York. Today we just had a case tournament which he hosted and did a very great job executing. No one had any problems. This is the one and only Alex Helidakis.
Close enough.
Helidakis. It's Greek.
That's
Something
right.
with an S.
It's a
at the
long
end.
Greek name.
Yeah. So thanks, Alex, for really joining us. I really appreciate the effort that you put into the game, the community. It's not easy as you can tell, but you make it happen. So, what do you experience as a TO? And the game itself.
Well, I've been judging multiple games for many years now, and I played Scoresy back in the day, and I was terrible at it, and I'm equally as bad at this game. So
Yeah, I
I
would say
figured
that.
I'm gonna judge because that's more fun for me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm more of keeping up on the rules for the most part. So
Yeah. So how was the event today, the case tournament?
the event actually went really well. We had 28 people, I believe, and so we did 5 rounds, top 8, and it went probably smoother than any event of that scale that I've run in any game at all ever. Um, we finished in like 4 hours, like start to finish, door to door, and everyone was like super cool, and they reported their matches on time, which is amazing. Everyone was telling me when they were dropping, for the most part, and there really wasn't really too many like hiccups. So I think that the tournament went really well. Everyone was really happy. We gave away 12 boxes for prize. Everyone got 3 packs for entering. They got probably about 15 promos for entering. Starting from all the way back from Goku's Kamehameha to Saiyan Body Blow and everywhere in between. Um, we gave out probably about $100 in door prizes. So it was like it's pretty good.
Cool.
Pretty good.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we were doing some side events too. One of our guys, Tim Mezapeza, was doing Gunslingers, and we gave out a bunch of promos there. Those are like the kind of higher end promos, like a bunch of extra top 2 promos that we've had in the past. So it was a lot of fun. Everyone really enjoyed it.
That's awesome.
Hopefully we're going to do another case event or something of that nature in the near future. So
yeah, sounds good, man. So since you don't really have much time to play, because you're always like busy running around getting tournament reports and everything.
Between
like
working
that.
here and judging the events, it's tough
it's
for
pretty tough. To really
tough for me to have time, in the wee hours of the night to get people to stick around and play a game or two. So, I get to play when I can. So, I try to just play a deck that I like, not really meta deck or anything like that. So,
But yeah, this deck was doing pretty well when we were playing against it.
Yeah.
So with further ado, we're just gonna against the Lord Slug Namekian. So, first and foremost, which mastery are you using?
I'm actually using the new mastery, the restored mastery. This mastery is insane with Slug, just because you get to stack your deck all the time, and you get to play cards like you get to play like the old mastery sort of before the errata, and you can play super defensive and like very very rarely enter combat. So you can play cards like Namekian Knee Block and like rejuve it, gain the anger from rejuving it, and then like put it on top of your deck with the mastery at the end of turn. So like there's so many things you can do with this. The cool thing about this deck is like you almost always go second. Even if you win the die roll, you should still go second with this deck a lot because you get the option of not only getting a ball from your deck with Slug level 1, but you can also use your mastery turn 1. A lot of people don't enter turn 1 in my experience with this deck. So you get the free check of the bottom. So it's almost like it helps you out just on turn 1 alone. So, and then either way, you're either going to get a ball or you're going to check the bottom, and maybe a lot of times you're going to get a ball or something useful, or it's just good in general. And like if you get into tough combats with this, the other thing is like you just gain 2 anger passively. And if they hit you on a combat where you just draw bad, you can just pitch a style card, get a free shuffle, and then just draw another card. So it's just good all around. And in combats that last a while, you just if they hit a ball to the bottom, you just put on the top.
Yeah, it's so
afterwards.
good. Sometimes you hope that ball goes.
Yeah, you're like, oh man, I hope I I hope I hit a ball 3 and put it on the bottom, and then it's going to go to me, and I'll just put it on top. So
Yeah.
it's very versatile. I actually like it much better than the old Mastery.
Mm.
I tested a lot, and it was okay, but I think this Mastery, it just puts in
So much work.
so much work.
Yeah. Very good Mastery. So yeah, so you're running the Slug 1 through 4.
1 through 4, all foils, because why not?
So
Why not? There's really not much to say. I mean, most people don't really play Slug, so I guess I'll do a quick rundown. As level 1 is whenever you play a ball, ball enters play on your field, you get an anger, and at the end of combat, if you don't control ball, you get a ball. So that's pretty solid. He has 3 PUR, which is like the gold standard. All the OP MPs have 3 PUR or better. So I'm putting Slug into that mix. His level 2 is a generic physical on hit Rejuve 2, so nothing really too crazy. His level 3 and 4 is really where he shines. His level 3, it's a +2 damage buff. Isn't really relevant in this matchup. What the thing you're really going to be doing is the first time you rejuve every combat, it basically doubles it. So if you're gonna, regeneration from 2 to 3, you're rejuving 8 cards, and that's a lot. I mean, that's like one big attack, a couple small
Almost
attacks.
one time for your deck.
Yeah, it's a lot. You're with the way I designed this deck, you're sitting on 3 or 4 most of the time, so that's really where you want to be in the deck, is 3 and 4. Level 4, when entering combat, you get to search for a ball, or you can lower your MP 1 level. Most of the time, you just power to 4 as fast as humanly possible, and then put your opponent on a 7-turn Glock.
Yeah.
There's so much control in this deck that getting a ball every turn is insanely good, especially like if you can do it early game. It's insane. So, speaking of Dragon Balls, we play all 7 Dragon Balls because this is a Dragon Ball victory deck, so why not play all 7 balls? Pretty standard. Pretty standard stuff. For setups, I play, let's see, I play 3 Growths. The card does literally everything you want it to do in this deck. You can play a ball from your hand if your opponent enters on you and you draw a ball. Or you can, if you're at level 3 or higher, which a lot of times you are, you can search for a style card, or you can rejuvenate 4 if you just want to use the rejuvenate 4 effect. Sometimes you're at level 3 and you're just like, yeah, I haven't rejuvened yet. I'll rejuve 8. Why not? Because living is good, and you always want to live.
Living is good.
Living is good. 2 visiting, pretty standard. This just helps you get when Red Ruthless enters combat on turn 1 and hits you for 40 damage. You get to visiting for pretty much any card in your deck. So it's almost like it's a tutor.
Yeah. And a lot of times, the fact that you have the Dragon Ball ability, it's like, enter on me, either I get a free card, or don't enter me and I bowl out. So
exactly.
It's like,
so
you have to...
it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
The deck is very defensive, so visiting helps with the aggressive decks that are in this meta right now. So visiting's pretty standard. Everyone plays that right now. I play 1 Namekian Disturbance because limit 1. Most of the time, it just gets me ball 1, which is the ball I search for most of the time. But it can also get anywhere from ball 2, 3, or 4. A lot of times, if you're 3, you just get 3 because that's the one you really want to be aiming for. But sometimes against MPPV decks, it's hard for Namekian to keep up with the MPPV decks. So you get ball 2 and just lower them. And pretty sure it's that one, right?
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that one. So it's basically like anger control, sort of, when you're at level 2. You hit level 2 super fast in this deck.
Yeah.
With the amount of Dragon Balls you play and the passive anger on your Mastery and Lord Slug level 1, you're going to be at level 2 most of the time, like the 2nd or 3rd combat. So this usually gets ball 2 if necessary. I play 1 Radar. It's Radar. You play Radar.
Yeah.
I play Dragon Clan. Same reason. You play Dragon Clan. It's a Namekian deck that's trying to win by ball. I play 1 Wish. Sometimes you want to get out of combat and rejuvenate a ton, so you play 1 Wish.
Yeah.
I've seen a bunch of decks that don't run it. I like it personally.
So combat enders are always good.
Combat enders are good. I'm not running blinding, obviously, because you don't want to banish your own balls, so this is the next best thing. So. 1 information gathering, because sometimes other people run Dragon Balls, like all the Namekian Piccolo decks, and the passive Krillin decks run balls too. So sometimes when you have no other choice, you got to bring them back. So we're not running Piccolo, so we can't grab them from banish. So. And that's it for setups. Then we got energy combats. I run 3 blind attack. since it's a ball deck, you want to get your balls as fast as possible. So the on-hit effect is super good. A lot of people are running cards like what's the passive one that's prevents all the damage, but it doesn't stop the on-hit effect.
Oh,
I forget. It's an Omni block. I can't
oh.
remember. Anyway, no, a lot of people are running these just to like prevent the damage, like stuff like Blue Rest, stuff like that. The blue decks.
Yeah, or even 20s with the
Yeah, Android
drill.
20, the scouting drill.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the thing I was thinking of.
Yeah.
A lot of people are running Android 20 right now. So when they scouting drill and mill 2, it just prevents the damage. So you still get the on hit effect of this, which is really what you care about. The 4 damage is really negligible because you're not trying to win by survival. So you're really using it for that. Running 3 Optic Blast.
Optic Blast.
It hits for a ton. 6 life is a lot. A lot of times you're going to get buffs on it if you have ball 1, which most of the time you have ball 1. So it's going to hit for 7. It has endurance 2, which this deck is pretty light on endurance actually. And it captures a ball. So most of the time, if they have their ball 1, it crits. You take ball 1, and then you steal another ball with the on-hit effect. And then they mill 3. So this card is just an all-star. Gotta run Optic Blast. Optic Blast. I run 2 targeted strike. I tried 3. I didn't like it. It showed up too much. Sometimes, like if you only have ball 1 or 6 or 2, you don't want to be using it. So I like it at 2 most of the time. It comes in pretty handy using ball 3 or 5, especially if you get into tough combats. So I like it at 2. Again, on hit effect against Android 20, it's pretty solid. I run 2 maximum will. Just for the anger tech. Again, it hits for 6, so if I get wall breakered, I need as many things that hit for that threshold as I can, and it has endurance too. So I'd like to bump it up to 3, but it's pretty tough to find room. So I run 2 of that. I'm running 2 overhead blast. This is probably my favorite card in the deck. You never really want to draw it, but against every deck that hits you for a lot, you just banish it. They can't capture your Dragon Balls. I honestly don't even know what the attack does because most of the time I just banish it for endurance and prevent the Dragon Ball capture. So that's really the only reason why it's in here. And then I run 2 energy blocks, 2 regular energy blocks. I run these just because it adds +2 on the crit effect, so you got to hit me for 7 now instead of 5. So again, it just prevents them from stealing the balls. So on to the physicals. We run 3 Slug's Fist Slam. This card does everything. I mean, I'm trying to be as toolboxy as possible, trying to get as much as I can. Gains 2 anger. If you're at level 2 or lower, it steals a ball if you're at 3, and it rejuves 1. A lot of times, you want to play a lot of stuff that captures balls back, because you're going to have ball 1, they steal it back, you use it again, steal ball 1. Most of the time, and then when I play this deck, ball 1 goes back and forth maybe 5 or 6 times in a combat, so it's really hard for them to do anything else. I'm running 2 Sinister Chokes. I really want to get this up to 3 because this card is amazing. It does everything. Can't be prevented. Does 5 life. It's basically an auto crit if it hits. So
Get your balls back.
you get your balls back. That's really what you want to be doing. I really want to play 3, and if that's, I'm going to try to cut a card for the 3rd one because it's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm running 2 Zone Pressure. I had a problem originally with the drill decks. They're around a lot lately, and you need a way to banish setups and drills. Originally, I was running the Namekian physical that on hit banishes allies equal to your MP level, but allies aren't really a big deal for me because I'm not really doing much damage, so I prefer to get rid of the setups and drills because they're, in my opinion, a bigger problem. So I'm running 2 Sagacious. Gets rid of Wall Breaker, auto crits, steals back balls. It does whatever you need it to do. And it's not even banish after use, so most of the time you're just visiting for it.
Yeah.
I'm running 1 Face Smash. I'm trying this out. It's an auto ball capture effect, and then I get to use the effect if it hits. It only does AT +1, so a lot of times people don't want to block this attack. And it also lowers anger, which is nice, I guess. So I'm trying this out. It's been actually pretty nice lately. The on-hit effect hasn't been too relevant, but most of the time you just use it to steal a ball away. Basically this is like my 3rd Sagacious Strike, so I'm running 3 Flinch because this card is the best block in the game, in my opinion. This card's better than Time, in my opinion. And that's my opinion, and it's wrong. But I like it. This card literally does everything. When you hit level 3, you get a ball for free. You don't even have to shuffle. If your opponent has ball 2, you can shuffle a ball. If they stole your ball 2, you can just shuffle it back so you don't get knocked down to 1.
This card is just.
This card is insane.
Especially against physical decks, like if they know you're at
Yeah.
3, like there's no way to play around, and that's the worst
There-
part. It's just
Yeah.
get a Dragon Ball.
If you have this card on the bottom and you put it on top, your opponent is like, I can't even throw a physical because I'm just gonna get destroyed by like ball 3 or ball 7.
Yeah.
So this card is insane. I don't know why it's not banished after use.
I don't even know why.
I don't even know why it gets allies.
I don't even know
This
what
card
even
does.
everything.
Card does everything. And I honestly think this card should be like limit 2 or like limit 1. Like this card is absolutely absurd.
Well, I mean, every most of like the searchers for Dragon
Like
Balls
people
are limit 1 per deck.
Yeah, people complain about like disc being broken. This card is broken.
Yeah, I think
this card wins you the game. At level 4, when you're like enter combat, I'll get a ball, do all the ball things. Then they're like, okay, oh now it's my action because I enter combat. All right, well I'm gonna do something crazy like Dragon Clan and get 2 more balls. All right, well I'll throw a physical. No, I'll just choose to win the game.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get 4 balls in 1 combat.
Yeah.
So this card is so broken.
Yeah.
I love it. And then lastly, we run 3 knee block. Again, like I said before, this card is amazing. You just get to play passive. It's like you're playing pre-errata set 1. When you play this card, you just pass Rejuve, stack it with the Mastery, and then you have a physical block for next turn.
And if they don't enter,
if they don't enter, you just draw it again, pass, gain an anger, and you just keep doing that.
Yeah.
It has 2 endurance. We play that a lot. This deck is really light on endurance, so having the endurance also helps too. So pretty standard. Then for the events, we run a lot because it's Namekian. First, we run 3 stare down. Got the sexy stare downs. It's stare down. You need to be able to. You're trying to play as defensive as possible, so you want to get their attacks. You don't really care about their blocks, so you just hit the thing that can steal their Dragon Ball, most likely.
Yeah.
So it's stare down. You play stare down. 3 hybrid defense, because again, it's an Namekian card that isn't banished after use, and it should be. It's like the only Omni block I think in the game now that isn't banished after use because they errated Red Stop or something.
Saiyan Outrage.
Saiyan Outrage, yeah. So this card's broken. It rejuves any card you want. It's broken. Like you run it. Running 2 Enhanced Reflexes, mostly for Krillin. Destructo Disc is a thing, and we don't like Destructo Disc, especially if you're playing black or orange, because it's an auto crit. So we don't want that. So we want to take 1 Destructo Disc. We don't want to take 7 Destructo Discs. We want to take 1, and that's it. This card's pretty broken, even against like decks like Android 18 or Android 20. You get rid of all their dominations. You get rid of all their tosses. Yeah, it's really good.
Now, did you ever find like you weren't like banishing the ball with Enhanced Reflexes? Because I think you have to banish the top card.
Yeah, you banish the top card, so I don't think it's come up really that much. It's not like blinding where it's the top 2.
Yeah.
And I'm running 1 information gathering, so if I do happen to banish 1, then I can usually get it back.
Yeah.
But it hasn't really come up yet. When it becomes a problem where I start banishing it a lot, then I'll probably cut it. But for now, I'm testing it at 2, just because it's another Omni block.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really basically for the name cards. So I'm running 2 Slugs Regeneration. Again, this is trying to gain anger as fast as humanly possible, so this card's amazing. You just gain a whole level. It doesn't gain you 6 anger, so a lot of times what will happen is if you're at level 1, you'll try to stay at like 4 anger, let them hit you, then you'll regeneration, gain a level, reju 4, and then you'll like, now it's your action because it's a quick play, and then you'll just like use your mastery if you haven't used it, or you'll like play any card that gains you 1 anger, which there's a bunch of in this deck. So you basically like, a lot of times with this, you're going to play it to hop 2 levels, not just 1.
Yeah.
So
make the most use instead of trying to climb from like 1 to 2 with 0 anger.
Exactly. So I try to use this whenever possible. Yeah. It hurts when you draw both. I've never actually had a problem with it because you take a lot of damage, but you're rejuvenating 8, so it's not a horrible plan. It hurts when it gets feared a lot because you want to sphere this card because it's literally the reason why you win the game.
Yeah.
So
it's really good because people don't see it coming because
Yeah.
it's doing like damage. And,
especially when you go from 2 to 3, and this card is advance a level, rejuve 8.
yeah.
The card is insane. Then we run the one-ofs. Time. It's time. We run time. Hurried Quest. I'm running 1 Hurried Quest. I like this card a lot. It lets you just do all the ball things again, and you get to bounce all the problematic stuff like ball 2 when you're at level 4 and you don't want that to happen. So you just bounce it back to your hand. It'll be your combat next. You'll play it. You'll enter. You'll get another ball, and then you usually have ball 1 to protect it. So this card's an all-star. I definitely like the 1. I wouldn't play more than 1 though, because a lot of times it's dead. So, and last but not least, we play my favorite card in the deck, the Mark Bolger Special. It's over 9,000. This card is actually getting better. It's getting better every set, in my opinion. We're in a meta now where every personality has like 10 million power level, and their 5 aboves are like 50,000 or 100,000. So most of the time, if they enter on turn 1, you just play this and go to level 2 instantly. It almost never gets feared because a lot of the decks want to be at level 2. There's very rarely decks now that want to camp at 1, except for maybe Turles. If you play this against Piccolo and they have old Piccolo, they're like, yeah, sure, I'll gain 6 anger. So a lot of times what will happen is they'll hit you, you'll regeneration, you'll go up a level. Then you'll like over 9,000 and go to 3. If you're at 2 when this happens and you go to 4, this card is a blowout. And most of the time you're going to turbo to 4, then you're going to enter combat, and then you just get ball 2 and lower them. So this card is basically like a free 6 anger.
Yeah.
I would play Digs if I had them. They're pretty expensive right now. As you'll notice, there are no ultra rares in this deck. So this deck's actually very budget. Like you can build this deck for like probably under $100. Like the only expensive cards in this deck are like Sinister Chokes and like Optic Blast, and they're like maybe $5 a piece, if that.
Yeah.
So you can anybody can really build this deck, even if you just started. And this deck is actually really good. You play super defensive. You just try to live. And winning by ball victory is the best feeling ever in this game. Honestly, like it's not cheap at all. Like winning by MPPV, in my opinion, is kind of cheap. You're like, I'm angry, fear me. When you win by ball victory and you're like, I summoned a Shenron, and you get to do like the cool Exodia thing, like make your happy face and wish to win the game. So you're just like, I'm gonna wish to win the game, and then you just make a smiley face, and you're like, I'm gonna win the game now. So smiley face. Here you go. Yay!
Sign the match slip,
We
please.
won. Sign my match slip. I won.
Yeah.
Yep.
You did it.
Pretty solid.
Especially with the balls going back, there's a lot of maintenance to really get all 7 and to keep it under your control.
Yeah. There's a lot of ball tech in here, so very rarely will they steal ball 1 and then another ball in like one action. So most of the time they'll steal ball 1 on an offensive action, then it'll be your action and you just take it back. So it's been pretty good in testing. I like it a lot.
So is there anything that you would change? Or?
Is there anything I would change? I want to add Digs. If I had Digs, I would play them. I'd play 3 because, again, you want to hit level 4 as fast as possible, and I would play Digs. I tested out Defiant Challenge just to shuffle the regenerations back. In testing, it's been pretty good. I cut it just because sometimes it's dead, and against some decks like Krillin, they'll just discard it and get disc, and that's bad. You don't want that. So.
What about Visage? Would you ever consider?
I like Visage. Again, you're not trying to win by deck out, so it doesn't really matter. Like, yeah, I guess they'll be afraid to like take a big chunk, but you're not trying to win by survival. So I cut it. I was originally running it because I do have it, but I needed to find room for stuff, and honestly, I wasn't trying to win by survival, so it just didn't do much for me, in my opinion. I'd probably run spheres if I had them, but I'm broke. hashtag single life, living on Long Island by yourself. I got bills to pay, and not cardboard.
Understandable.
Yeah. Sure, when you're blinging out these and it's like, oh man, this is $6, not $60, then it's okay. But in an ideal world, you run like maybe 1 or 2 spheres and 3 digs, and if you really want to play the deck competitively, I actually think that the deck can be very, very solid. I'll try it out on a local if you guys get a chance, and let me know how it is. You guys with the with the digs and all the cool ultra rares, because I want to see what the actual the true power of this deck is. No pun intended.
Yeah.
But yeah, ideally, I'm probably gonna find room for a third Sinister Choke.
Yeah.
I might cut the Enhanced Reflexes, just because I'm testing them out right now. I just put them in like a couple days ago, so yeah,
it's
that's
awesome.
about it.
You know, and again, you know, with all the tournament stuff happening, you know, you're really being behind the scenes, and you know, people loving the events that you guys are hosting. You know, so I just thank you, and like you said, something in the future soon. I mean, any word on like the judge programs and stuff? Did you guys get anything on?
Nothing that I know if I'm allowed to talk about, so I won't talk about it.
Okay.
I don't want Aaron on my case. So
yeah. Okay. So I mean, I wish we can definitely get some.
I'm sure that they're going to be doing another run of judge tests and official OP coming in season 2, which I'm really excited about because this season was awesome. There's a bunch more regionals that are going to be this year. ARG is going to be doing a bunch of events for Worlds, which is a hot topic lately. So I'm not going to comment on that. What else?
But how do you feel like the game is right now?
I think the game is actually super varied. Everyone really still complains about the big 3 or the big 4 now. Like, eventually it's going to be like big 5 when Cell comes out or go on, and you know, at that point it's like, all right, well, if there's 6 big decks in the format, then like, what is everyone complaining about? Like, if we have Ginyu decks and Krillin decks and Piccolo decks and Android 20 decks, and most of them are playing 1 or 2 different styles, then why is it a problem? Like, I don't think it's a big deal. And there's like, you know, anti-meta decks like, you know, Android 18 or like Ruthless 17 that can compete with these decks. And Slug. Like, Slug's not terrible. But I don't know why people are complaining about, you know, oh my god, this meta is so stale and I hate this game and Destructor Disc is so broken, which it is. But it's beatable. Like, Krillin's power level is really low, and you know,
I played against it with my Red Turles, just matches. And
I think Android 20 is going to be really good for a long time because his drills are solid. And, attack drill is going to be less and less relevant later on, where people are both going to have attack drills out because it's like Android meta right now. But I feel like in the future, when we get, you know, more personalities, and it's going to be less relevant. So it's going to be less relevant that you have 2 attack drills out, or if you have like Android 20 ally, stuff like that. So I actually think Android 20 is going to get better as more sets come out, and you know, everyone's going to play Cell. It's Cell. Everyone's waiting for Cell and like Majin Buu and Majin Vegeta, and you know, they're not going to be like, oh my god, we're still playing Krillin San Diego Comic-Con in 2 years when he's at like 3,000 above, you know, at 5 above, and you know, I'm playing against Majin Buu is 10 million at 5 above or whatever. And it's like, all right, well, I'm gonna hit you for 10 stages for my physical. I don't have a block, so I guess my Destructo Disc can't happen because I'm at 0 stages. So I think that everyone is overreacting to stuff like that. So I think the format is very healthy right now. We just had our case tournament today. We had 8 decks in top 8, and they were all different. Like, there was 4 different personalities for it. We had Ginyu, Krillin, Piccolo, Android 20, and Wheelo. We had 5 different personalities in top 8. And that's amazing. So I don't know what people complain about. This meta is awesome. I love it.
It's really good.
It's much better than set 1. We're playing Blue Ginyu, and that's it. Like, that meta sucked. I think that the game right now is in a really good place. The player base is amazing. It's probably like the friendliest player base, the cleanest player base.
The cleanest.
And trust me, I judge every game other than Yu-Gi-Oh, but I'm around Yu-Gi-Oh players a lot. No offense to Yu-Gi-Oh players, but you gotta put on some deodorant. It's bad. It's bad, man. It feels bad, man. It's amazing. Like, I honestly love this community, and
everyone's honest. And
everyone's and the game is only growing, and I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon, to be honest. So
me either. So
I like where Panini's heading with this game. Now that they're finally doing organized play, and large scale events. So
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it. It's gonna be really fun.
You will definitely see you probably there judging some
Yep.
big event.
And if you're in the Northeast, come on down. We're a huge store, as you can see. I'm
as
sure
you can see,
it's huge.
all the cool stuff. And it's like
I
2
know
in
it's
the
empty
morning.
now, but it's 2 in the morning, and
Yeah.
we're technically closed. But
Plus, we have like the
for those of you who
downstairs.
have been to New York Regional, you know how big it is. So we fit 200 people in here, and it was pretty solid. So
Yeah.
if you ever get a chance to come out here, if you're in the area or on vacation, come on out. We have a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Always big events. We run every game.
Yeah.
Pokemon, DBZ, White Shorts, Fight, Force Will,
Yeah.
Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh,
Pretty much
Vanguard.
everything. Yeah.
Oh my God, everything.
Yeah.
Like if you have a game, we probably have it.
Except My Little Pony.
Except for My Little Pony. We used to carry that though.
Yeah. So thanks again, dude, for all your help and contribution to the game, and
Yep.
hopefully you guys take some inspiration from his slug deck. And again, it's something to really just consider. There's a lot of decks out there, and your only can get better next set. I mean, think about it. Cells coming out, so you might probably have some more villain-only Namekian cards and stuff like that. So it could boost up cells.
Definitely.
So there's a lot of things that can.
And we get Yamcha and Roshi. I mean,
yeah,
we actually get MPs that are joke MPs, but for all we know, it's it's going to be like Score, and Master Roshi won Worlds like I think last year in Score, and he was broken, and I'm sure Yamcha's going to be just as broken too. Like his named attack is probably going to be like advanced to level 4, and then you lose, lower your personality, a level at the end of combat, and then you lose the game or something like that. And it's just going to be like his level 4 is just going to be like the picture of him dead in the pit.
Yeah, what I really
in the
hope
dirt.
is for Panini to make alt art MPs.
Yeah.
Like they do right now with the Goku, but like for the Yamcha stack, where his like level 1 through 4 is all him like getting beat up.
Yeah.
His like level 4 would be him like Orange Destruction Pose, and level 3 would be him getting impaled by 20 or something like that.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, So thanks again, man. So until next time, Z Warriors. Again, this is Alex. If you're in the area, like you said, just come down to Brother Spring Games. He'll be here and more than happy to help you. So until next time, viewers, MrWaffles out.